If you like the Coen brothers, you're going to love the Coen brother and his wife Tricia Cooke's newest film, Honey Don't, starring Margaret Qualley, Aubrey Plaza, and Chris Evans. Hey, I'm Mike. I studied film, I work in TV, and I love movies. Ethan Coen is known primarily for his collaboration with his brother Joel. The men co-write and direct all of their films, although prior to The Ladykillers in 2004, Ethan got sole director credit, but typically they work together. The duo are responsible for such character-driven classics as Raising Arizona, Fargo, and The Big Lebowski, just to name a few of my favorites. In the early 2000s, Ethan and his wife Tricia co-wrote a film they were calling Drive Away Dykes and pitched it as a lesbian road trip film. By 2023, it became Drive Away Dolls and served as the first of a planned trilogy of what they called lesbian B-movies. It's only the second project Ethan Coen made without his brother Joel, Honey Don't being the third. Drive Away Dolls also starred Margaret Qualley, but not in the same character as we see her in Honey Don't. Honey Don't is everything you'd want a lesbian B-movie to be, though. It's what Chinatown would look like if it were directed by the Coen brothers. Honey O'Donoghue, played by Qualley, is a private detective in a dusty southwestern town. She isn't officially hired for a case. In fact, the case she is hired for, she repeatedly tells her client, Billy Eichner, that he's better off not hiring her at all and forgetting his issue ever happened. Some detective she is. The case that she does eventually stumble upon is one that would blow the small town that they live in wide open with scandal. Should she solve it, that is. Honey chases down a lead of a would-be client who turned up dead before they had the chance to meet. There's a funny moment when Honey's asked if she's trying to solve the woman's murder, and she correctly responds, no. Honey's trying to figure out why the dead girl was coming to see her in the first place. But turns out it doesn't matter anyway, because Honey's niece goes missing, and she gets sidetracked in solving that. Honey seeks the help of MG, played by Aubrey Plaza, a police officer relegated to the evidence cage at their small station house. They meet and hook up right away. Okay, so the plot's a little muddled, but that's not really what you're watching for anyway. I love Aubrey Plaza, and she's perfect in this role. In my opinion, Aubrey Plaza is often typecast, and I love seeing her stepping outside of her Parks and Rec persona to bring us a different character, in this case, MG. Charlie Day also co-stars as the actual detective who's supposed to be solving the crime, and he's more concerned with asking Honey out than he is with solving murders. He's a terrible detective. Even though Honey repeatedly tells him that she likes girls, he can't seem to solve the case of why Honey won't go out with him. Chris Evans plays the sex-hungry leader of the church drug ring and is fine. And you wouldn't be wrong for thinking, what happened to Patrick Swayze? Because that isn't Patrick Swayze. It's his brother Don Swayze, or as the kids would call him, Timu Swayze. Overall, the film is propped up by a sharp and clever script. The characters are deep and memorable. There are moments that'll make you laugh out loud and others that have you reeling from the sudden and sometimes unnecessary violence. Think Fargo and the Wood Chipper. And there's a good deal of sex in Honey Don't. It's shot tastefully and there isn't a ton of nudity, but it really isn't necessary to the plot, so I'd call that gratuitous. There's a whole subplot of Honey's father entering the picture after being estranged that just comes out of nowhere and never resolves, but that's a B-movie for you. In fact, the film might have scored higher with me if it just leaned into what it wanted to be, a B-movie. B-movies are dark and gritty, not because they like the style, but because they don't have the money for lights or expensive film stock. I tried searching for what they shot Honey Don't on, and my usual sources, shotdeck.com and shotonwhat.com, both came up short, but I'm willing to bet it was shot digitally because everything looks so crispy. There's nothing wrong with shooting digitally, but I wish this particular film had more gumshoe, film noir, and less bright comedy lighting. If you're going for a B-movie feel, it should feel like a B-movie. If I'm being honest, I think I would have liked Honey Don't better if it looked like Blood Simple, the Coen brothers' first feature. If it was treated like the low-budget B-movie it was supposed to be. I can picture how I think the development of Honey Don't went down. Ethan and Tricia had the idea and wrote a B-movie and were probably planning on shooting it as such, but then the agents get involved and you snag a big star, raise more and more money, maybe another star signs on, and before you know it, you're shooting a tasteful sex scene between Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza. Honey Don't could have been so much more, but instead what we got was a Timu Coen brothers film. Anyway, I'd love to read your thoughts on Honey Don't in the comments below. Film is about community. I'm Mike, and I love movies.